Hey there. Last week I saw The Favorite, and I think it may be the best movie about royalty that has ever been made. I highly recommend it, but I don't think it's the comedy it's being sold as. Most of the reviews have focused on how entertaining it is. The performances are flawless, and the writing is mercilessly funny. It's an infinitely quotable film, and in portraying the love triangle between three very powerful women, it could be seen as progressive in some ways. All that is true, but that's not really the way I saw it. I think The Favorite is a horror film.
You are mad. Giving me a palace.
It is a monstrous extravagance, Mrs. Morley. We are at war.
We won!
Oh, it is not over. We must continue.
Oh, I did not know that.
Some commentators have questioned why the LGBT nature of the material wasn't more front and center in the promotional material, but I think it was the right choice. This wasn't a positive portrayal. It was an illustration of three profoundly damaged and damaging individuals doing each other even more damage. The horror here is that these folks were running a country and making decisions about life and death for millions, based in large part on how their love lives were going. That's really the way that most of the world was run for much of human history since the advent of farming. A couple thugs on top got to do pretty much what they wanted, and it was horrible for almost everybody else. We don't see that in movies much. It may seem like the film is exaggerated, and some of it definitely is, but the United Kingdom's war policy and its choice of commander-in-chief really did depend on the state of Queen Anne's relationship with Winston Churchill's great-great-great-great-great-great-grandma. Queen Anne wasn't alone in this. We owe the modern UK Parliament to the fact that British kings kept marrying Catholics that their Protestant subjects hated. And don't get me started on the world historically nightmarish selfishness of Henry VIII. Monarchy is an insane way to run a country, and the way that The Favorite relentlessly illustrates that fact is more than a bit genius. We are supposedly far beyond individual leadership now. Most of the world's people live in countries that at least pretend to be run according to the will of the people, and most decisions are usually made for more worthwhile reasons than the personal interactions of our leaders. But you wouldn't know it from our popular culture. We seem to desperately want some kind of nobility to look up to. Even though most of the few remaining royal families are largely powerless, we spend a great deal of emotional energy on their ridiculousness. This weird mismatch between government and sentiment extends to our movies and TV shows. Take Braveheart, for example. Robert the Bruce, the Scottish king that betrays our hero, is still portrayed as a good guy. Netflix just gave him a new movie this year. It was too boring for me to finish, but the position of the movie was clearly that this guy who got multiple armies massacred, broke every oath he ever made, and murders a dude in a church is the good guy. Because he's a king, and kings are glorious. HBO's Game of Thrones is probably the property that does the most to shape and express what we think of aristocrats and monarchs today. On the surface, it's super cynical. It's largely about a pack of murderous, incestuous thugs stabbing everybody in the back and slaughtering tens of thousands to get what they want. But in the world of the show, the worst thing about the bad guys is the fact that they get in the way of nice people like the Starks and Queen Daenerys who deserve to rule. There's clearly something at the root of our culture that still yearns for a good king to come and save us. Game of Thrones, Braveheart, and most other pop culture depictions of royalty include bad kings and good kings, but they still depict worlds where rule by kings can be fundamentally good and right. It isn't. Not now, and it never was. What makes The Favorite so great is the way that it depicts what day-to-day rule by kings and queens was almost certainly really like the vast majority of the time. The gorgeous settings are warped by a fisheye lens that makes everything revolve around whatever desperately unhappy schemer the particular scene is focused on. Rule by kings and queens warps countries and people as well. For once, Hollywood has produced a film that shows what monarchy actually is. The Favorite is a horror movie, and it's a very, very good one. Everyone involved with the picture should be applauded for getting it out there. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and click the bell next to the subscribe button to get notifications whenever I upload a video. Thanks.